Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today I have another juicy story for you. I am using natural lighting as well, so you know it might change up in here, but whatever. Because my friend Dee recently got married, I figured I would share a story about one of our crazy adventures that we had back in 2018. So if you are interested in hearing a story about me and Dee getting set up by some guys that we were talking to at the time, keep on watching. All right, so my friend Dee recently got married on May 22nd. Congratulations. That is my sister. So from 2017 to 2018, me and Dee, we were, clubbing, just having a bunch of fun. I had been seeing this guy, we're gonna call him Frank. Me and Frank were, we were on and off, like very on and off. And at this time, I believe that we were off. And I think I seen him one day in April, and then I hadn't seen or talked to him since. So, the story that I'm gonna tell you guys takes place May 19th. And I'm only telling the story because Dee got married on the 22nd of May. So it's crazy. So May 19th, me and Dee, we were planning to go to the club. Frank's birthday was the 15th of May. So I already knew that him and his friends would be going out clubbing because they would club a lot as well. The guy that Dee was dealing with, we'll call him Brad. So Frank and Brad were friends, really close friends. And so we knew Frank and Brad would be out at the club this weekend to celebrate Frank's birthday. So we were like, you know what, let's just go where we usually go and they'll probably be there. So yeah, we get to the club, they're not there, and we're looking really freaking cute. We're twerking, we're, making Snapchat videos, all of that good stuff. And the way that this night ends up going was not how I expected it. I can't remember if it was me or if it was Dee that noticed them come in, but I remember we were looking at my cell phone because we had taken some pictures. We were looking at our phones, and I'm pretty sure it must have been Dee. Dee had whispered in my ear, I think she said, "Don't look up, but they're here." So I was like, oh my God. And of course, they were there, they went to their little booth, and me and Dee kept on doing our thing. Like, we didn't want them to ruin our night or to dictate our night, so we kept doing our thing. And then I had noticed another friend of mine, we're gonna call her Karen. Karen was also at the club. So me and Dee were drinking the whole night, we're having fun, we're dancing, and so by the end of the night, me and Karen are dancing on each other, and I can see that Frank is looking at me, and I'm like, okay. We end up leaving the club. We weren't trying to make it look like, we wanted to talk to them, but we wanted some. When we get outside, we wait for our Uber, but we didn't even call the Uber. We were just pretending like we were waiting for our Uber. And we might have went and got a donaire, I can't remember, but there was a really good donaire spot right beside the club. And this club actually burned down, but we don't know if it actually burned down. Or if it was arson. Anyway, so we're out there, we're waiting, and Brad came out. And Brad was kind of, talking with Dee, and he invited us to come back to his apartment because there was a little party for Frank. I was like, yeah, sure, we can come, it ain't no big deal. And then we get in a cab. There was Frank, Brad, me, Dee. I want to say there was 7 of us. No, there was 6. We get in this van, and Frank's brother was there. What are we gonna call him? We'll call him, what can we call this guy? We'll call him Kirby. Okay, so Frank's brother Kirby is in the van, and his brother was really, really funny, but he was really turned up. He was really drunk. So yeah, so we're in the cab, we are driving to this apartment, and we get to the apartment, and I think it was it was Brad, and then there was another friend of theirs. We're gonna call him Andy. So Brad and Andy were kind of like talking to each other, and I think Dee overheard them say something like suspicious. Dee was like, when we were walking up, I think she told me like she heard them say something, but I don't remember what she told me that they said. I think she said either way, like the conversation of an orgy came up. Me, Dee, Frank, everyone were going up into Brad's apartment. Brad lived with Andy, so we go up to their apartment. It was very like loud, you know, we're all talking, it was kind of loud, and then I think it was at this point that, was it Andy? I think it was either Andy or Brad that said something about an orgy, or I think it was Brad. He asked me if I would do an orgy or if I would have like group sex, and he was like, I already know you, like you're a freak, I know. And then he asked Dee, he's like, would you be down to have an orgy? And I can't remember what Dee said. So I was like, and then like we're all sitting in the living room having a conversation, whatever, and Brad says that there's gonna be a couple other girls coming to the apartment to have this party. Me and Dee look at each other because we're like, other girls? What the hell's going on here? So yeah, we're like, you know, we can play nice. Me and Dee aren't really like that, you know, we're pretty cool. We're very friendly, outgoing, you know. So when Brad answers the phone and he's on the phone with these girls, apparently the girls were downstairs, so Brad was like playing nice. Frank and his brother went out to the patio, and yeah, so me and Dee go to the bathroom, and I remember telling Dee, you know, if it gets weird or anything, we can go. Like, I'm not trying to be here with a bunch of hoes, you know, so if it gets a little bit hoish and bitches start twerking and, you know, showing they thong, we can dip. I'm going pee in the bathroom, Dee's fixing her makeup, and then we switch, you know, we're just talking about it, and then we hear the girls come into the apartment, and I was not expecting this. So me and Dee were looking at each other and we're like, oh fuck, they're here. And we hear Brad telling the girls like, oh, the other girls are in the bathroom. So we're just waiting in there because we already knew like maybe the girls would come to the bathroom, and then the bathroom door opens and I see Karen and her friend. Mind you, Karen was my friend in the club that I was dancing with, and she was twerking on me and all of that. So she was shocked. I was shocked. I'm like, Karen? So then her and her friend come in the bathroom, and she was like, who are you here for? And I'm like, I'm here for Frank. Like, me and Frank have a ton of history, you know? So the moment that I came to this apartment, I already knew me and Frank was gonna be getting down. Karen asked Dee, she's like, who are you here for? And she was like, I'm here for Brad. And then Karen's friend was like, well, I'm here for Brad. And we were all, I was just shocked because Brad got caught the fuck up. Karen and her friend, let's call her friend Stacy. So Karen and Stacy, they were immediately like, you know what, you girls can stay, we're gonna go, you know, this guy, he's trying to play us, all of that kind of stuff. And I could tell that Karen was getting irritated because her friend got played. And I don't know if Karen was gonna get dick that night, but I could tell like she was really mad because we all got set the fuck up. So me and Dee were initially planning to stay. We were not expecting that. I was not expecting to see a girl that I personally knew popping up here at this little turn up. We open the door, we all go out, and all hell broke loose. Karen just off the rip, she starts going in, and she starts going in at Brad, and then Stacy, at first she wasn't crying. And then Stacy starts crying, and Brad is trying to console her and be like, you know what, just stay, don't go, because Stacy and Karen were like, we're gonna go, you guys can have this little party. Brad was like, please don't go. I think Andy was also like, don't leave, you know, stay, turn up, you know. Stacy and Karen were like, no, we're gonna go. And Karen was really angry, like she was really mad. Brad ends up turning the whole situation on Dee. And at this point, I think me and Dee had like this mutual understanding of like, you know what, I think it's time that we should go. Everyone's in the living room. Frank came up to me and he's like, should I just come to your house after, you know? And I was like, sure. And I'm trying to put my shoe on. I only got one heel on. My other heel is by the door, but that's where Karen and Dee were over there, I think, with Brad. That's where Brad and Dee initially got into their argument. Like, Brad was like, why are you here? Nobody invited you, D. So then I'm trying to put my shoe on. And then I end up going to the front as well by the door where my other shoe was. At this point, the door is open. All I know is Stacy's bawling because I think she actually wanted to be with Brad. And Karen was just popping off on Kirby, Frank's brother. Kirby's calling Karen a fat bitch and, you know, all these other things. And Karen's getting mad. I think she spit on Kirby as well. It was getting heated. Me, D, and Frank are in the threshold of the door, and Frank is like still going on at D. Who invited you here? You're crazy, blah, 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 blah. He looks at me and he's like, Juliana, did I even invite you here? And I was like, I don't know. Like, I wasn't in the conversation when D and Brad were talking outside of the club. I just followed D because D was the one that talked to Brad, and I was under the assumption that Brad told D, like, come with us, because if we weren't invited, wouldn't you have said something in the cab? Wouldn't you have said something when we were all walking together, you know? I was just like, I don't know, I was following you guys. Like, I was under the assumption that we were all going together, that we were all invited. Me and Frank have a lot of history, okay? I think it was the May previous to that, May 2017, I had popped up, and I think the story is on my YouTube. I popped up at Frank's house, at his apartment, when he had another girl in the apartment. I will link that video up here. If not, it'll be in the bio. But I had popped up at Frank's house when he had a girl there, and we had a whole commotion there. So me and Frank, we already have like this physical, like, crazy connection relationship. Like, me and Frank will throw the fuck down if it comes to that. So Frank was getting mad, and I think he was with his brother, and they were in the living room, and I think Andy was with him trying to like hold him back because he was mad that Karen was over there screaming at them. So Frank has anger issues as well. So Frank is getting angry. I'm at the door, and Frank's telling me to get the hell out. Not get the hell out, but he's saying get the F out. And I'm like, oh sir, not me. Me get the fuck out. But wasn't you just trying to come to my apartment after? Like, so then I get mad because I'm like, you are not gonna tell me to leave nowhere. If you trying to get this coochie, you ain't telling me nothing. Okay, sir? And you gonna respect me, and you gonna talk to me nice. So then I get mad. And D and Brad are still going at it. Me and Frank are now going at it across this hallway and into the living room. Like, I'm getting pissed the fuck off. I grab whatever is around me. And at that point, it was a shoe. Andy, or his brother, Kirby, was trying to pull Frank back to the balcony. And I picked up a shoe, and I threw that shoe. And I was aiming for Frank, but it hit the table with the Hennessy bottle on it, and the table was glass. And it didn't break, but you definitely heard the bottle, and you know, you heard it on the table. So I was a little bit worried that I broke the table, but I don't think I did. Brad looks at me and he's like, Juliana, this is not your house. You can't be throwing shit in my house. And I was just looking at him like, sorry. This man knows how to get under my skin. So when he was like, don't throw shit in my house. Don't throw shoes and shit. Bitch, first of all, get your man, because your man is pissing me off. And when I get mad, that's a wrap. Like, we're not gonna do, like, I'm gonna pick up anything I can, and I'm aiming for his fucking head. So me and D are like, you know what? Y'all is crazy. Stacy can stay with you. Karen can stay with you. We don't give a fuck. We're going. So me and D, we go to the elevator, and we're just in shock because I think what they were trying to do was, at first, round up a bunch of girls because it was Frank's birthday and possibly get him as much coochie that they could. When I knew Frank, he was just out in the streets. He was for the community. He was for the streets. So I think that his friends were, you know, just trying to round up any female that they could and bring them back. But they knew both of us, so I don't think it was like random women. But they were trying to round up whoever they could and get, you know, get their man some coochie. And I don't think that they thought that this would happen because everything was going fine until the girls came and we all realized, like, we know each other and we're all here to get the same dick. Well, some of us were there to get the same dick. We were not okay with that. So me and Dee, we ended up leaving. Karen was supposed to drive us home, but when we left, Karen and Stacy were still up there. So me and Dee were like, you know what? If Karen can't drive us home, if she doesn't come down in like 10 minutes, we're just gonna call it Uber and we're gonna go home. Dee was really hurt. Like, I could understand, because if it was me and someone was there for Frank and so was I feel like it would have been 10 times worse. We're sitting downstairs in the lobby, we're sitting on this table, and we're just like, what the hell? And Kirby comes down, and Kirby, I've never met Kirby before this. He's drunk out of his mind, and he's like, you guys need to come back upstairs, like, don't go, you know, we're having so much fun, just come back upstairs, don't leave, please, you guys are really beautiful, don't leave, don't leave. And we're just like, Kirby, we just got kicked out, Brad just kicked us out, we can't go back up. And he's like, no, you know, I'm the boss, you know, I'm the oldest one out of all of them. If I say you can come back upstairs, you can come back upstairs. And we're like, listen, this ain't your apartment. And after everything that happened, if we were to go up there, I don't think the vibe would have been the same. So Kirby, he ended up going back upstairs. He was pretty bummed out because he really liked us. And yeah, so then Karen comes down, and Karen is mad. And then we go to Karen's car, and she's basically saying how she went up there, because I think when Kirby went back up, I think she spit on him again. Because in the car she was saying, I just spit on the two, like one with the long hair, and I was like, you spit on Frank? So I think she spit on Kirby, and I think she spit on Frank because Kirby was just disrespecting the hell out of her, like straight up. We go to Dee's house, and I sleep at Dee's house, and when we woke up, it was just like a shock. And I also want to add to this story, because my baby daddy and we were really on and off, even though we hadn't like come together, we hadn't done anything. When we met in 2015, up until 2018 in November, we hadn't met. We were just having like communication and texting. So I want to say that week, my baby daddy had actually like messaged me before we had our daughter. He messaged me on Snapchat, we added each other again, and we were talking. I remember waking up on May 20th, and I had noticed that I couldn't see his Snap score. And I realized, like, when you can't see someone's Snap score, then they deleted you. So I sent him a message, and it said that this person has to be your friend to receive your messages. So I was like, wow. And that's when I blocked my baby father. And I did not want nothing to do with this man. I don't think after May 19th I ever seen Frank again. Like, I was not trying to deal with him. And then after May 19th, I actually had sent a message out to Kirby, because I can't remember why I sent a message out, but I did send a message out to Kirby, and we ended up having a kind of like a little relationship where, you know, we got really close, and I liked his vibe. Minus when he got drunk, he was a really cool guy. Anyway, yeah, like that day, after that, me and Dee seen synchronicities of 519 for like 2 years after that. And it was just crazy, because when she told me she was getting married on the 22nd of May, I was like, damn. It was just funny, because that's one day, like, we can never forget that day. Crazy, crazy, crazy. And yeah, after that, I never spoke to Frank. I've never seen Frank ever again. I think it was after that, like, just seeing how he was so easy to disrespect me. Like, 1 second this guy's like, okay, I'm gonna come over to your crib and, you know, we can leave all this drama behind. To the next, he's telling me to get the hell out. Like, sir, what are you talking about? But yeah, guys, that is my little story of May 19th with me and Dee. I just want to say congratulations again to my sister for getting married. And she's in Belize right now, so I wasn't even able to attend her wedding. But nonetheless, I was there in spirit. If you guys would like more stories from me, make sure that you give the video a thumbs up, leave a comment below, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.